Hey guys, so this is going to be a very interesting video. I am trying to feed Ori some hummus right now because it's the only way that I can make a video. She's been very fussy, so sorry for the poor quality of this video, but I really wanted to go ahead and make it, so you'll just have to bear through me not looking at the camera and her feet wiggling in the camera. But this video is about memorization and my thoughts on that. This week I've been thinking a lot about homeschooling and our future plans and what my approach will be, and the topic of memorization came up, or memory work. And so I had been kind of collecting some thoughts to put a video together when I saw, I believe her name is Erin, her video on her memory work board for her kids, and I let her know that I was thinking about making a video, and she suggested making one as a response to hers. So that's what I'm going to do. But I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on memory work and homeschooling. So modern educators, or modern education philosophy, I should say, and maybe even the unschooling approach to learning, views rote memorization with somewhat of a negative sentiment. I think a lot of people view it as just cramming random facts into your kid's head, or teaching for results on a test, or some may even go so far as to say oppressive. But I just wanted to point out that is a really new viewpoint, or a new way of looking at memorization, because throughout history, memorization has always been paramount. It's always been very important. The first thing that comes to mind in Judaism is the oral tradition, or oral Torah, being passed from generation to generation. I think of in the Master's Day, boys who were trained to be Pharisees would start memorizing the entire Torah by heart between the ages of 6 and 12. That was just the first level of education. There were 3 levels. So, of course we know that Shaul, or Paul the Apostle, was a Pharisee, and that meant that he would have had the first 5 books of the Bible memorized in their entirety by heart. I wrote down a quote from the Babylonian Talmud, and it says, "Before the age of 6, do not accept pupils. From then on, you can accept them and stuff them with Torah like an ox." I thought that was kind of an interesting quote. So throughout ancient history, through the Middle Ages, memorization has always been, a primary of the utmost importance, because that was the main method of learning or transferring information from one generation to the next, prior to the invention of the printing press. Whether that was through poetry or ballads, songs, epic stories, whatever it was always important and valued. So I started thinking about memorization and American history, and I own a copy of the New England Primer, whatever you want to call it, published in 1777, and that was the primary teaching text for grammar-age students, to teach them to read and to spell, and it covers the alphabet. It has some poetry and the Westminster Shorter Catechism, which kids would have begun memorizing, if not completed memorizing, at a very young age. I think maybe between ages 4 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought about that, and then this week I've been reading. Ori, eat your food. I've been reading the book Moms Who Changed the World with the YouTube Moms Book Club, and it talked about one mom who required scripture memorization from her son, who went on to change the world. And the book actually lists the passages that she required her children to learn, and it was pretty astounding what he was able to memorize and accomplish. So, and then another thing I came across this week was an article published by City Journal. It was written by Michael Barron, and I think the title article is "In Defense of Memorization." I wrote it down. The subtitle is "Progressive Educators Call It Drill and Kill, but Learning Poetry by Heart Empowers Kids." Hey, over here. And in it he talked about the 1927 course of study in literature for elementary students in the New York public school system. And he lists the poems that they were required to read and commit to memory by grade. And it was just eye-opening at how not that long ago memorization was a big part of our education, and what kids were able to read and comprehend and commit to memory, and their level of literacy, and how much it surpasses where we are now. It's really eye-opening and disheartening, but at the same time motivating, because we know that we can do that, and kids are capable of that and have excelled at that. Reading that article brought two quotes to mind, and I'm not sure who said these, but I have them written down. And one is, people do not do any more than they are expected to do, or know more than they're expected to know. And the second quote is, put the little minds of children out of your thoughts. Children have just as big minds as we have. So, at the grammar stage or age, kids are just sponges, and they soak up, everything around them, all the information that they're given, and they're wired to do that, and that's a very natural process for them. And I think we do kids a disservice by not, by kind of dumbing down our expectations of them, and not challenging them, and not requiring them to learn information and commit it to memory. I think what Erin said in her video is right on, that giving kids information and facts and names and dates is creating memory banks or pegs in their minds, and it's laying a solid foundation on which they can draw from and build upon later when they are learning to write essays and to argue their point, whatever it might be. Obviously from Scripture, we have the precedent of hiding God's Word in our heart, and to keep the Lord always before us, and to meditate on His Word day and night. So, obviously I don't think anyone would argue about the merit of Scripture memory work and committing Scripture to memory, but I think you can transfer that also to names and dates and facts and historical events and science terms, because it all points back to Him. History is telling His story, and the redemptive work of Messiah and man's history, and I think science and science terminology all points back to the awesomeness of God and His creation. So, and adding to that, I think kids are wired to memorize facts and to learn and to soak in information, and the world is going to offer them information and facts, and if someone who's not my kid's parent, or someone who doesn't have their best interest in mind, or someone who doesn't have the same worldview that I want to raise my children with, is going to take the time to advertise to them and present information to them, I want to take just as much time to instill what I think is important in their minds and give them the opportunity to learn those things. So that's just kind of what I've been thinking about, and at when the time is right and our kids are older, we'll definitely incorporate memory work into our homeschooling. And obviously you have to take into account your kids' age and their personality and learning style and where they're at, their attention span. But I definitely think that memorization is an awesome tool to be utilized, and it's great for kids because they're already going to be in that grammar stage and soak up information so readily and quickly when it's presented to them. You just want to make sure that they're getting the right information. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I will talk to you guys later.